You're listening to Honey, We Made a Disney Podcast. Two friends since a trip to the mall was the event of the summer. Now guides in your nostalgic tour of Disney history, one magical film at a time. I'm JB Waggoner.
And I'm Eddie Ferguson. And on today's episode, we reminisce about our times at summer camp as we review The Parent Trap.
So fasten that safety restraint and pull up on the yellow strap. It's time to open the vault.
Cue that Disneyest sound effect. JB, didn't we already review this movie?
I was literally going to lead with that. We just saw this, right? Like we already reviewed this movie at some point recently. I feel like I should go look that up while we're talking about this.
We didn't need to find a long lost brother at summer camp because we had already found each other. And went to summer camp
so
together.
much time
Our
together.
ESPN.
Off the charts.
No, for those who are unaware, we would spend 1 or 2 weeks every summer at camp. And
sometimes more with each other than with... more time together than sometimes with our own family some summers.
Yes. I remember, I want to say it was like going into our junior year of high school. I remember like calculating it. I spent more time with you than my own family.
Wow.
Easily. Like between, especially like school and then like school extracurricular activities like the plays and stuff. Youth group and church stuff, making our incredible blowout promo videos. And then the whole summer with like missions trips and camp and stuff, like we spent more time than my own family. Yeah. Yeah. So we have reviewed this movie before. We just watched the 1998 version already.
Just 2 years ago. It was when on episode 59, I'm looking at it right here and what we gave it. This movie was one of the most rewatched movies in my house growing up. I texted this to my sisters and mom mid-watch while we were rewatching this, while I was rewatching this, just to reminisce a little bit with them about it. We've talked about this movie before, but this is was quintessential watching for our family.
It was not for us. The remake was, but not the original. I think this is maybe only the second or third time that I've ever watched it. Even though I talked to my mom like midway through watching it, and she's like, "Oh, you're watching the original Parent Trap," and she lists off every actor in this movie by name.
Wow!
I'm like, Mom, you can't even remember my own name half the time. How are you remembering these actors from the 50s and 60s here? She goes, well, how could you not forget? And then she's like, it's so-and-so, and I'm like, okay. My mom's a big old movie fan. I'm like, oh, well, she must have known this movie really well, like, because she was able to list everybody off, but.
Well, speaking of actors that she was naming off, obviously, I'm sure Hayley Mills was the first actress that she named off, who was the star of her breakout role in Pollyanna. She told a Vulture magazine article back when she was releasing her memoirs a couple years ago, that she actually, after doing Pollyanna, she didn't have to audition for 20 years. She rode that success for 20 years. Now, I don't know if she was doing a ton of great movies in those 20 years, but she said she didn't even have to audition. And it was a very, very real turn of events when she finally had to actually do that. Funny enough, Eddie, I went and saw a movie this weekend that opened. One of your favorite directors, Eddie, little man by the name of M. Night Shyamalan.
Oh, you went and saw that?
I saw Trap, the suspense thriller movie, and I had no idea that I went to look up Haley Mills and what has she been doing recently, and what other movies was she in? She was in Trap as a serial killer psychologist, and I just started laughing when I realized we were watching a movie about her in Parent Trap, and now she's in a 2024 movie called Trap. And I'm like, that was 1,000% planned. 1,000% planned.
That would be what we call serendipitous.
We call that planning. Good planning. Easter egg.
Also happens to be, did you notice, was the name of the cabin that they were in? Serendipity.
Oh, the actual cabin that they were in. Oh,
when they get isolated.
I was thinking Arapahoe, because they talk about Arapahoe quite a bit.
That's where they were initially, but when they get sequestered, just the two of them, the name of their cabin is Serendipity, which I thought was a nice little nod. And then you've had this serendipitous moment here
right now. It was so funny. She's one of the main characters in this film, and I was just like, that's really odd, strange. And
I mean, she's only done like a little thing here or there. Like she did one movie in the late 80s, 2 in the 90s, 2 in the early 2000s, 2 in the mids, and 2 now in the 20s.
Perfect timing. This was, man.
She does 2 a decade.
And she chose this one probably because of the name. She's like, oh, is it going to be like the original? No, this is not like the original.
No.
But anyways, just want to say that I thought that was really funny.
Now she signs a 7-picture deal with Disney. She goes on to do quite a lot with them. I mean, Pollyanna, Parent Trap, and then she does 6 more.
So, like the 1998 remake, felt very much the same way with this film. Love all the antics at camp, all of the different things that they pull pranks on each other. Messing up the cabin is just on another level with all the honey and the dirt and the straw and the hay and the string. Like
toothpaste.
It's like a whole. I've never seen anybody prank a cabin that good.
Yeah.
In my life, that was like next level pranking at its finest.
Well, and then cutting the back of her dress off. You're just like,
so
whoa.
Cool, sinister.
No, that would, that would
expelled from camp immediately. There would be no, let's come together and yeah. No, you would be gone. You'd be sent home immediately. That was a bridge pretty far. But then again, that led to one of the most intense girl fight scenes that wasn't like we get the action hero ones now, and these are like, well, like,
sure,
this, they were like it was intense all up until the punch bowl scene, and then it's just shenanigans from then on, like the punch bowl flying all over, the cake up on there. So much fun.
The director of the camp, I can't remember her name, that lady, Miss Inch. She says this was the most infamous and revolting display of hooliganism that she has ever seen. I love that line.
Is she in a bunch of other
infamous and revolting display of hooliganism?
Is she in a bunch of other films? Because she feels like that character is a quintessential 1960s role.
She felt familiar, and then the camp counselor felt familiar. I don't know what else they've been in, but yeah, I kind of felt the same.
Some of the lines I love from that moment. The nerve of her coming here with your face.
Yeah, that one written down too.
I'm so mad I could just spit. I feel absolutely naked without my lipstick. Just like, who comes up with some of these? It's just so funny.
I loved the girl trying to leave camp with a new pet skunk and just beyond herself that her dad would not let her. Why? He's cute. Oh, my cute little cuddly pet. And it's just a throwaway little moment, right? Like, has nothing to do with the story. It's none of the characters you've met. It's just like aside.
Well, knowing Disney, it might have been a real skunk.
For sure.
It was probably a real skunk.
We had real skunks. We had real horses. We had real bears. We got bears again.
Real bears. Wolves we leave alone, but
another great line in that moment is when they're planning how they're going to get their parents back together, and she insists on California, and she says, well, why California? And she goes, because Boston is no place to kindle romance. And we've always known that. Everybody knows that. Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah, I just loved all those little funny moments. Maybe it's because they were nostalgic to the watching this movie so much as a kid. But yeah, that whole front part of this film is just so engaging and fun and witty and memorable. Even the random I forgot about the stop motion Franken and Bash opener that like tells the entire story, and then you watch the movie.
4 minutes long. It's 4
really
minutes long.
Yeah.
And it tells you everything.
Everything.
Like by the time I got to the end and I'm going, hey, well, even Lewis goes, was that the movie? Is it over now?
Oh, he caught it. That's hilarious.
He caught it. And I said, oh no, that's the credits, old movies they do at the beginning. Oh, okay. He did another great thing the whole time we were watching this because, well, one, we had to kind of talk about, of course, how some mom and dads separate. So kind of, got to have that
deep
conversation.
Life lessons, yeah.
Yes. And then he gets really, really involved in whether or not they're going to get back together. Like he's really rooting for them to get back together. Oh. And every scene that the mom and dad are together, he'd lift up his hands and he would like almost motion like, well, they're coming. Oh, they went away. Oh, they're coming together. They're coming together. They went.
He was giving you like a volume meter.
Yes. So at the very end, when they're in the kitchen, and all of that, he's like coming and he's like, are they going to kiss? And so he was quite excited when they actually kissed. So he was tracking that all the way through.
Something that I got slightly like, oh, we're going to see that scene again. And then my wife reminded me that it's not in this version. It's 1998. Is piercing the ears with the with the apple. With the apple and the needle. Like I was ready for that scene and all we got was the haircut.
That would have been a little too risque for the 60s, right? Cutting of the hair was quite a big deal. Yeah, it is interesting how similar these two movies are, but at the same time so different. What
were some of the big differences for you?
Well, I think they're subtle. I like what you're talking about there. There's quite a few lines that like I'm quoting the 98 version and then boom, they whip it out there as well. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think that you had the whole like visit the hotel sequence, but that's very similar to how they see each other for the first time in the 98. But overall, like beat for beat, scene for scene, they're pretty similar. It's just these little subtleties in how they modernized it, how they made it, more 98.
Yes. I felt it. I mean, it's similar to what we just saw in The Absent-Minded Professor with Flubber. Mm-hmm. I would say they're probably pretty similar in their ability to just hit the same beats over and over again. Maybe Flubber was a little even closer to it than this one. I probably have to go back and rewatch both of them, but I'm probably not going to do that. just to tell the difference between the two movies, I'm probably not going to do that. But I think, so the real problem for me with this film is that whole middle section. Yeah. After post camp, like not engaging with the new potential fiance wife, them finding out and coming back. There were some moments that I enjoyed. Like I enjoyed the grandpa when he's like basically making fun of her outfit, but also but by doing it by praising her, the outfits that she's wearing and stuff. Like
probably my favorite sequence in this original version that was not in the remake.
Yeah.
I liked the grandpa overall a lot. he just kind of has these nice, like, he's up to something. It may look like grandma's running the house, but she's not. We all know she's not. She's not.
The other person I enjoyed in this movie was the Reverend.
Yes, I have a quote that, yes.
Go for it.
Well, I think my favorite moment for the Reverend, which he plays it well, right? He plays it subtle. He's got some good little winks and nods all the way through. But my favorite is when they come in and Mitchell's like getting drinks for everybody. And he's like, Reverend, I'm not sure if you would be interested in a drink. And he said, well, for celebratory purposes, I'll go ahead and have one. And then he tells him, I'll take a double bourbon on the rocks.
Double bourbon, double on the rock.
On the rocks. Like, whoa, hey now.
And then he just pops up all throughout there, just like totally oblivious to what's going on.
He's definitely on the girl's side, right? He doesn't want Vicky. He's rooting for the reunion.
It's like, how did he ever let her slip away? How did he ever let that woman slip away from her?
Oh.
So I think this movie does have some of those fun characters, and Verbena, her just going on and on and on. I'm not saying a word. I mind my own business. But if he wants to make a ninny of himself, that's his own business. But I don't say a word. I don't say, like, some of those characters. And then when the one guy comes out as the gypsy, and it's just like, bro, I'm not into this at all. I don't know what I'm doing here right now. Okay, I guess we're gonna start this thing. That's it. Those are some very lovable moments in spite of that whole middle section.
Well, and that's the moment, probably the most iconic moment of this movie, at least the one that gets played back most often, is Let's Get Together, the song sequence that they do there. Again, Sherman Brothers pull that one out. They're the ones who write that song, and then also the title sequence song, which is quite catchy.
It actually became like a popular song at that radio. Time, like on the radio, it was running on the radio because of this film having like that crossover effect outside of the movie. But the ending, all of those shenanigans on the hiking trip, on the camping trip, those are just some of my favorite moments from this film, for sure.
The ending seemed just a little too quick of a landing. I think in comparison to the remake, I like the more complete feeling of that ending. Maybe even that's just how they did in the remake, the title, the end credits, where they've got like a lot of the pictures and things going on there.
Yeah, I would definitely agree. I think more and more I've just thinking about this movie. Maybe it's because we just revisited the other one 2 years ago, which feels pretty soon for some of these older films we haven't watched in forever. But yeah, I'm just kind of leaning more towards the 1998 version of this, whether that's sacrilegious or not, I don't know. But
well, I was going to ask you about this because we dog on the remakes quite a lot. Yeah. But I think they sometimes have their place. And we've now mentioned a few times, we're like, I don't know if I would call Flubber like, oh, wow, that was a great one. But like we mentioned Cruella when we reviewed 101 Dalmatians. We're talking a lot about this 1998 remake of The Parent Trap. So like, why is it sometimes good and sometimes we're just like, ugh, they're remaking that?
I mean, maybe
besides the obvious like animation to live action remake. I think that one's kind of self-explanatory.
Nothing that we've talked about yet in the positives have had an original that was blow your mind, like best thing.
Sure.
That's ever happened. I mean, we did give Absent-Minded Professor a three on here. So middle of the way, but we're not talking about like some of the remakes that we despise are because the classics are so great. Like The Lion King, like the original was so good. It's like, why touch it?
Beast.
Yeah. Why touch it at all? Like This is ridiculous.
I think you hit it on the head there, because even you think about Mary Poppins, they didn't dare remake Mary Poppins. They did like a sequel, quite removed.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think nobody has straightforward feelings about the Mary Poppins Returns. You either hate it or you're like, eh. Like, I've never met anybody who just loves Mary Poppins Returns.
Playing that on repeat at my house,
yeah,
for sure.
Like, we listen to a few of the songs, like maybe one or two of them will pop up in the rotation. But I can't tell you the last time I actually watched it. I don't hate it. I don't hate it, mainly because I thought, okay, Emily Blunt's pretty good. I mean, she's Emily Blunt. She's a fantastic actress. But there's so much of the other part of that story. But I think what you're saying is right. It's like Mary Poppins is the greatest movie Disney's ever made. Like, you can't touch that. Just leave it alone. And yeah, some of the times when the remakes work, you're kind of going, okay, yeah, the first one was good. It was a solid story, but it wasn't blow your mind Mary Poppins.
Someone just talking with a group of friends, I think it was actually Friday, and we went around the table and people were like, what is the one remake that should never, ever, ever, ever happen? And to be quite honest, I've already moved into the spot of like, they're going to remake everything. At some point, if it's popular, they are going to remake it and to get more money, like pull more money out of that IP. So there wasn't even anything I could say, because I'm like, I bet you they're already working on it. They're already going to be doing stuff, even though I know that there's some that like
Oh, you already know which one they will never, ever, ever do.
Which is?
Song of the South.
Oh.
That should have been your answer. I can guarantee you 100% they will never, ever remake Song of the South.
Oh,
promise you.
That's a great. Touche, Eddie. Touche. Who knows? Maybe we'll go back the other direction.
Who knows? Who knows? Nobody knows what the season finale has in hold for us.
I do want to make just a quick shout out production wise. Obviously, this is Haley Mills playing both characters. Shout out to her for, at least when I was a kid, making it seem like these really were two different girls, trying it with the different accents and stuff like that. So production wise, they did either one, they used a lot of a body double for a lot of the shots that were just like back of the head. Funny enough, back in that Vulture article, Haley Williams talks about how she had a lot of fun doing the fight scene where she like smashed a cake in the girl's in her stunt double's face, like really excited about it, did it, and she was like, oh, this was fun. And then she realized, oh, now she has to do the reverse angle of this. And then her stunt double got to put it in her own face. Also, just shout out to her stunt double. I should have written down her name. Her stunt double went on to to date Elvis Presley for a while. There's like all kinds of little nuggets. You guys got to look up for the 2021 Haley Mills Parent Trap.
The Vulture, Vulture, right?
From Vulture. Yeah, you're right.
Not the Vulture.
Not the Vulture. Just whatever, Eddie.
No, that was me. I was adding the article.
But yeah. So use a stunt double for part of it. And then the other part of it is they not only, so nowadays you could like put someone on one side of the screen, then like cut off the other side and then put up another image over there and have the two of them playing back to back. They actually like in camera blacked out the screen, like did the crop, like blacked it out. And then they would play back the film with the next one that was also blacked off on the other side of the screen with the second take. Like I was looking at footage where they were literally like, they would use a plate to like stop the other one side of the screen from even appearing as they're filming. So then they could like like overlay it on the second
so
footage.
As they're filming, they would block off half the camera. Oh, I see what you're saying. Whoa, okay.
Some intense
and then you
stuff.
just you just splice the two negatives together.
So double exposure.
I assumed it was a
post-production
laying
thing.
one over.
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy.
Literally cutting the film or something. But yeah, that's how they did it. It's super intriguing. If you're not totally sure what I'm talking about, just look it up on some of the production stuff. But yeah, they literally were. Nowadays, it's a super simple task for an editor to do. But back in the day, like you didn't have, like if you're talking about whole scenes with the same person on both sides, like you got to figure out a way to do that economically. And so that's what they did. But
I wonder if they kind of had it budgeted out, like how much on-screen time can we afford to see both of them at the same time?
Yeah, probably.
But, and I mean, that's kind of, it's interesting. We're in this period of Disney films innovating, doing things that are new and unique, which is cool.
Yep. So, Eddie, what are you going to be rating this film?
I went first last week. I think it's now your time.
I'm going to give it a little nostalgia play for me. But because I cheated and looked at my rating of the 1998 version, which I gave a 2.5, I'm going to give this a 2 for me. It is interesting, but man, that middle section
slows down.
It slows down pretty bad.
Yeah.
And it just didn't quite hold me long enough. So,
well, here we go. 2 weeks in a row, JB and I are going to actually agree with each other. And I'm going to say a 2. Interesting as well. Yeah, I think I would push people more towards the remake, to be honest.
Lindsay Lohan held it down.
Yeah. She did a pretty decent job there.
Shout out to Dennis Quaid too. But
I like Dennis Quaid. I haven't seen it, but apparently he's done this movie where he plays Reagan, and he's doing a lot of press on it right now. And I'm like, Dennis Quaid, I really like that. I didn't know that his brother, Randy Quaid, was Cousin Eddie from National Lampoons.
I
didn't know that was his brother. I just learned that.
A lot of Quaids out there.
This weekend watching an interview. So there you go.
We didn't talk about if this is in the parks. Any representation in the parks? Did you find any?
None to my knowledge.
Okay.
None to my knowledge. I'm sure you're going to hear the song.
At some point.
Around. And I think I always bring up anytime a clip is shown in kind of like the Disney sizzle reel, these are the classic Disney moments.
Yeah.
The two of them dancing and singing Let's Get Together, that's in most of them. That always kind of pops up. So otherwise, yeah, I don't know. I don't know any park references to that. So
well, now that you're filled up on nostalgia, let's talk about a very little bit of Disney news. There's
not much.
Lots being held off because we got D23 happening this weekend. We're going to be following it and going to be for sure talking about it next week on the show. As long as we remember to do the show and no one gets sick or anything. Fingers crossed. Everything.
We do have 6 kids amongst us, so
yes. Any point. There was a little moment
today
where I was like, "Am I feeling sick? No. Okay, let's just keep going." But one of the big news is that we finally have a release date for Skeleton Crew, the Disney Plus Star Wars show that's like Stranger Things mixed with Goonies, mixed with all
Amblin-esque.
Amblin-esque.
Ever since they put, neither did I, but as soon as they put that in that press release, I went, we all know what that means, but I've never heard anybody ever say that before. I'm like, yes. Okay.
Is it going to be like 8mm or 16mm? Is it
Super 8? You're thinking of the J.J. Abrams movie Super 8.
Where it's literally, he's just trying to be Spielberg the whole entire movie.
Yeah, but I liked it. I liked it, JB.
But it's still at the same time you go,
I listen to the soundtrack all the time.
I'm sure you do. I wonder if it's going to be that where they're like, we're really trying to be Spielberg and Stranger Things, just trying to capitalize on that.
I think that's what it is. They're going, because Stranger Things ended up being Amblin-esque without trying to be. And I think they're going to try to be more
Stranger
Things. That's the one they're going to try to emulate. Do we have any trailer, artwork, anything like that?
It's like just some did we talk about this last or 2 weeks ago? Because I found, have we before they were able to drop a few of the little nods to it, some reader somewhere, some person on Twitter found a poster, a Skeleton Crew poster of all places for this film, that it hasn't been released yet, at Hobby Lobby. Did I not send it? Did I not send it to you?
No.
Eddie, I swear that I sent this to you, and if I didn't, I'm sorry, because there's a lot of things that we were texting about.
I swear,
probably at the time. So now I'm like furiously looking through my text messages to see how I did not also send this to you as well, because it was just a random reader found like was walking through. I don't think it's exactly Hobby Lobby, but it's like a poster, because evidently this thing was supposed to come out earlier and it didn't, and so there's just a random.
This is like us getting Elio toys in our Happy Meals here back in March,
where it's just like randomly we're just gonna give
Lewis is like, when can I watch this movie? And I'm like, in a year and a half you can.
Oh my gosh, that's funny. Oh, found it. I'm sending it over to you right now so you can check it out. But yeah, he just literally, and he's a Star Wars fan, like, so I don't know where he found it, but it's just, there's the poster with all the characters on it and some big baddie at the center of it, and just found it, just chilling. It's in like Canada or something like that.
That's crazy.
There's the poster. There's the poster for the show. Don't know how it got at a random store, but
he says at this thrift store.
Yeah, how it got there, we'll never know. But
I see no price listed on this, so
it might not be real. But I would say that I will write enough. I think I have figured out a way to completely wipe my brain every time one of these shows happened and they suck, and just then it's a new, at least it's something Star Wars new,
and then you get excited.
Once we get the trailers, that's what we're waiting on. And I bet you.
But you watched The Acolyte. I did not.
Yes.
Do you think you can wash your brain of The Acolyte?
Yeah, because this is going to be totally different. I think the kids help. Having kids in it. I mean, granted, kids didn't help Obi-Wan. The Obi-Wan show.
No,
there's something about this, though. You think if the whole show, multiple kids, like, I don't know.
You would
Probably
think,
not.
you would hope. I don't know. Speaking, I mean, yeah, you'd mentioned D23. This might be a good time to jump in there. I wouldn't be surprised if we get some type of trailer this weekend for it. So this weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday is the D23 Expo. D23 is the official fan club for all things Disney. You can pay for a membership, you can get a free one. And then every 2 years they do this big thing out in Anaheim. And one night they do like all of the non-Disney companies. So like your Marvel, your Star Wars,
Pixar,
your TV channels, all that. No. And then another night they do your more Disney-ish Disney stuff. So like your Pixar, your Disney Animation, your Walt Disney Studios, they kind of separate those out for some reason. So we'll kind of see. And then one other night, they do the parks and resorts and cruise lines and all that. And this is usually where, if they're going to announce something big for parks, for Disney Animation, Pixar, stuff like that, usually comes out at this. The other ones, 3 has I think a date next Thanksgiving. And I think we're probably going to hear a little bit more about 4 and how are they going to tie these together. They're going to try and really turn that into as big as they can make that, right? Like they just want to make the money there. So it'll be interesting. Maybe a little bit more from that. I don't know. Definitely going to get some Moana stuff because Moana is what's coming out at Thanksgiving.
Yep.
JB, have you watched any of the Olympics? Are you an Olympics guy?
I've watched a good bit of it. Actually, a lot of cycling because my uncle's stepdaughter. Am I saying the right thing?
Yeah, I think
stepdaughter is a Olympic cyclist, so we've been watching a little bit more of that, especially.
Have you guys caught this Moana Olympics tie-in commercial?
No, I haven't.
Oh, okay. It's
You don't sound enthused.
Well, one, it sounds weird. Like this, I'll have to find a copy of this if it's out there. But it's kind of one of these things where it's like, The Rock does some type of weird voiceover where they're trying to tie in Moana's adventure with an Olympian's adventure, and you're like, yeah, that's a stretch. I don't know if that's really the tie-in that we all immediately thought of. And then on top of that, like some of the sequences in it look like half rendered.
Oh,
they're real bright. They look weird. And then the voice for Moana sounds like she recorded it holding her iPhone. Yeah. And, nope. and this is playing, like, we watch the Olympics pretty much every night. We'll watch the primetime coverage and just the catch ups. And, it plays 2-3 times every night. And every time that comes, I'm just like, oh, no. So yeah, I think though here at D23, we will get, maybe the first trailer. We've already gotten a teaser. I think we'll get a full. They're definitely bringing The Rock out on this stage. You know, they're gonna do something big there.
My guess for D23 is probably going to be the Star Wars stuff. My hope is that they will at least give us a projection of dates for Star Wars, potentially.
Mandalorian, like, hey, Grogu.
Yeah, like when is the release date going to be at the very least? Because I'm assuming, or that is the confirmed next Star Wars movie coming to theaters, correct?
If it makes it to theaters, there's been a confirmed Star Wars movie for like a decade now.
Yeah, we need to just pull the band out. I wanted to see some Star Wars in theaters, Eddie. It's almost on the level of when Pixar wasn't in theaters, but
yeah,
something about it.
We should also be hearing some things about, we're in the period of sequels. They're working on a Zootopia 2. We're probably going to hear about that. And joked about it, but seriously, there's Toy Story 5 on the horizon. That'll be next is still supposed to be Elio. Hopefully that happens. I'd like to still see original stuff
in March. Yeah.
But after that, it's supposed to be Toy Story 5. What are the chances we get an announcement on Inside Out 3?
I don't think so. I think it's too soon. I think we're riding the Inside Out wave, and there's no reason to like project farther. I think it's still like, hey, Inside Out 2, highest grossing animated film of all time. What do we do? Like, how awesome are we?
There's already been reports that they've got people within Pixar writing treatments.
As they should.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a giant check.
You'd be stupid to not have somebody in there going, hey, the 4 of you go sit in a room and just toss some ideas up there on the whiteboard, like that's, we know Bob's calling. So let's say, yeah, we're working on it.
Yeah. You got to have it in your pocket, but
yeah. And then I wonder, the Disney live action studios, do we have anything coming up for...
Mufasa is the only one, but that's a prequel of a remake.
But that falls into the studios, not into animation, right?
You're right. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So we've got that coming up from the studios. I'm just curious if they're gonna try and pull anything else out for us here. Last D23, they made a big deal about the Haunted Mansion movie. That was kind of big. Jamie Lee Curtis came out and we liked it though. We liked it. I watched it with you and you said that was actually really good. I liked that.
Are we talking about the same one? The Haunted Mansion movie where they like, why am I blanking on the people that were in it?
We watched it with you at your house just back in October.
I'm having the hardest time remembering anything that was in that movie. What's the actor that
we had Rosario Dawson, and you
I fell asleep in that movie. You
probably did.
I fell asleep watching it.
You fall asleep a lot, let's be honest. I really liked it. And then what was his face was the Hatbox Ghost. Oh.
I literally don't remember much about that movie at all after the first 20 minutes.
I really enjoyed it. And I have wanted to rewatch it, but I purposefully am like holding it off until we get closer to Halloween season. Yeah. Which is what Disney should have done and released it at Halloween instead of end of July, beginning of August. No. Don't do this.
No one wanted to see that.
I don't know. I would love to hear something crazy like announced. Maybe they're going to go back into Pirates. Maybe they're going to go for a Jungle Cruise 2. Maybe there's some other park IP that they're going to mine and try and put out there. I'm always hoping for a Society of Explorers and Adventurers.
I feel like maybe they could probably do something with the Indiana Jones ride. Maybe they could turn that into a movie franchise potentially, but
I still think Indiana Jones is just sitting on the table. Like the Dial of Destiny, it was okay. I don't think it was as bad as Crystal Skull, but I would love to see like a good. I could see a series on that one. Like I could get behind. Like, don't give me Indiana Jones. Give me something in the world of Indiana Jones. But
felt like that's what they were trying to set up, but
no. Well, they tried to set up the last two, right? Like Shia LaBeouf was gonna. No, that didn't work, and then. Whatever, Dial of Destiny was, but what are you going to do? So we will be watching the D23 Expo, and if it's worth it, we're planning on, maybe they just don't announce anything and it's like a huge dud and we're like,
we can talk about that. We will talk about it no matter what.
Yeah. So next week's episode, we intend on dedicating it to all things announced at the next D23 Expo this weekend, which you can live stream on YouTube.
Ooh, I have to do that during work hours, maybe.
Well, before we go, JB, I hope that you and the family have a lovely, wonderful week.
Me too. It'll be less eventful probably than this past weekend where it was all birthdays all the time for our little 5-year-old princess, and just having lots of good times. We had multiple parties Thursday and Sunday and Saturday. Even some other kid's birthday party in there as well. And Sunday was a tea party, a very proper tea party,
like a true Southern tea party.
I don't know if it was Southern, but it was very formal. Lots of hats, lots of very small sandwiches.
Were they cut into the shapes of things?
Squares.
Oh, okay.
But there was no like Mickey or Minnie or anything like that. But she had a great time. There was a lot of A lot of American Girl doll stuff right now is just flowing through our house. So, and it was funny because we almost got our American Girl doll for Christmas, and she just wasn't totally into it. And it was like the moment we got her something else, and after Christmas, like it was like right after Christmas, she then a switch flipped, and she was like, "I want American Girl doll stuff." And then it's been a build up all the way to her
which is kind of what you want, right? Like you want that anticipation. You want build up.
I'm glad we waited, because now it was all that pent up energy of like, I want that, I wanted it. And we'd already gotten her the doll a few months back as a just progressing, just hitting life stage stuff. And so now we're able to just do a lot of accessories stuff, and suitcases and outfits and all kinds of stuff. So, well, and with that, you've got a weekly dose of Disney nostalgia.
Be sure to subscribe to Honey, We Made a Disney Podcast wherever you listen to your other favorite podcast, and give us a look on YouTube as well.
While you're there, please like or leave a 5-star review and share it with your best friend.
You can also check us out at honeywemade.com, where you can see all of our nostalgic reviews of Disney movies.
Tune in next week as we review Babes in Toyland.
Thank you for listening, and remember, untidy little girls won't go to the dance.